You've made the decision to get a C5 Corvette. If you're just looking for something to cruise around and enjoy those hot summer nights, then by all means, get yourself a convertible. But if performance is more your thing, then you've got to decide, should you go after a Targa Top Coupe or a Z06? We're going to talk about both of those options and a whole lot more next.
Toys for Life.
In total, there was just under 250,000 C5 Corvettes manufactured. There were 3 main body styles, but really there was 4 different versions. To understand which version of the C5 is best for you, let's first walk through each variant of the C5, and then let's dig a little deeper to see what makes each type different than the others. First, we have the Targa Top version of the C5, which is the most produced. It was made from 1997 all the way through 2004, and they produced just under 125,000 units. The Targa Top was the only version of the C5 Corvette that was produced all 8 years of the production run. It received rolling changes through its 8-year run, with, of course, the later years receiving the lion's share of the upgrades. Targa Top Coupes are solid performers, and they could have been optioned originally a number of different ways. But by far, for the serious street enthusiast, that checkbox for the Z51 suspension package is the most sought after option. The Z51 package included revised springs, shocks, sway bars. All cars got a power steering cooler. Automatic cars got a 315 rear axle ratio, while all the 6-speed cars had 342s. All of these changes materially enhanced the car's handling ability on the street with a minimal trade-off to cruising comfort. All Targa Tops came with the LS1 engine. Now, they all received rolling changes through the years, but 2002, 3, and 4 are generally considered to be the most desirable. Next up, we've got the C5 Convertible, which was made from 1998 through 2004. The total production was just under 90,000 units. During the intro, I quickly brought up the C5 Convertible, but dismissed it as basically a low-performance, cruising-only C5 option. To some, that may seem kind of harsh, but I have 2 very simple but important reasons for my quick dismissal of the convertible as an option for the C5 performance enthusiast. First of all, since there's no roof structure, it has the least of all the Corvettes in terms of torsional rigidity, and that really doesn't allow any performance suspension to achieve its full potential. And second, again, since there's no roof structure, and since performance vehicles like the C5 are intended to be driven to their limits, that's where you're most likely to get involved in an accident, a collision, or rollover. And in that situation, I don't know about you, but I'd prefer to have some sort of structure above my head. And therefore, the convertible is just out for a serious performance vehicle, in my humble opinion. Moving on now to the rarest of the C5s made, the 99 to 2000 Hardtop fixed roof coupe. With just over 6,000 of the FRCs, as they're now called for short, made, they may look like the Z06, but they're not quite the same thing. Originally, this version of the C5 was supposed to be a low cost, low frills, low performance, 4.8 or 5.3 liter engine, roll-up window, automatic transmission, small tire only version of the Corvette. Yikes. Fortunately, GM made a couple of prototypes and did some marketing surveys, and what they learned is that generally speaking, people weren't very interested in this low performance, slow Corvette. In fact, a lot of people thought it might hurt the brand as a whole to introduce such an econo model C5. So fortunately, when the final decision was made, they decided to pivot to the strength of the Hardtop fixed roof coupe, which was the fact that its chassis was the stiffest mass-produced Corvette chassis ever. And they decided to make it a higher performance, manual transmission only, lightweight version of the C5. For '99 and 2000, the fixed roof coupe was offered with the same LS1 engine that was put into the other C5s. You couldn't get the fixed roof coupe with selective ride control dampening, but you could order it with active handling. The interior came in any color that you wanted, so long as it was black. The heavier sport seats were not available, nor was the power seat option for the passenger. Its 12% stiffer chassis was rewarded by only being offered with the Z51 suspension package that we talked about a few minutes ago, making it a fantastic performer with only the very rarest of interior squeaks and rattles. All of these things were consistent with the fixed roof coupe being the low weight, low cost, high performance variant of the C5. It didn't take long after the 1999 fixed roof coupe was released to get noticed. Performance reviewers absolutely loved the car, and GM figured out they were onto something. That brings us to the highest performance C5 Corvette, the 2001 through 2004 Z06. It was basically as high performance, mass-produced, track-ready car that you could possibly ask for. And that is exactly why GM gave it the name that had been last used in 1963, the Z06. The Z06 was successful, especially with the more hardcore Corvette fans, and as a result, just over 28,000 Z06s were produced. The Z06 delivered more engine and suspension performance than the previous Hardtop FRC, and as a bonus, it even came in at about 115 pounds lighter than the Targa Top Coupe. GM engineers were able to achieve this weight reduction by using non-run-flat tires, thinner glass, titanium catback exhaust, and by using less sound-deadening material. The Z06 deserved more horsepower, and GM engineers delivered. They started off with a block that was revised to deliver better high RPM performance. Internally, they bumped up the compression, the heads and intake manifold flowed better, the camshaft had higher lift and longer duration, they used larger injectors and a larger mass airflow sensor. These changes bumped up the horsepower by 35 in 2001, and 2002, 3, and 4 had a total of 405 horsepower, for a 55 horsepower increase over the LS1 that came in the Targa Top and the Convertible. But GM didn't stop there. The Z06 also received drivetrain upgrades, including a bigger, stronger drive shaft, a stronger rear differential, and the manual transmission received shorter gears, making it more ideal for track use. You know they couldn't leave the suspension alone, so the Z06 received an even more aggressive package called the FE4. It received further revisions to the sway bars and the shocks and a stiffer rear spring. All of these changes added up to significantly more performance, which really isn't too surprising anytime you add horsepower and handling and take away 100 plus pounds of weight. So hopefully that's enough information to help you decide which version of the C5 Corvette is right for you. If you're on the fence between a couple of the C5 models, then here's a couple of things for you to consider. As mentioned, if performance is a minor consideration and you just want a Corvette to cruise around in, then give the Convertible serious consideration. If performance is high on your list and maybe even a couple of mods, but your C5 will almost exclusively roam the streets, then I would look at both the Targa Top and the Hardtop Coupe. Their body styles are quite different, so go with whichever version puts a bigger smile on your face. If performance is your main goal, especially if you plan to track the car, then the Z06 is the clear choice for you. And also, if you're looking for more C5 content, go ahead and click one of the links on the page. Thanks for watching.